Tasha, welcome to the Lifted podcast.
I'm so excited.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm happy to have you here. I feel like we've been trying to line it up for like ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially just meeting you in general. Like I was like always following you, always had you on my page, and now it's like, oh, we're actually doing this.
It's like that person that you're like commenting on all their shit and then you're like, when are we actually going to meet?
Yeah.
Ever.
So many times that's happened. At least we finally did it though.
Finally.
Yeah.
I'm excited for our conversation and just like talking about, we're going to get into like boxing and that kind of thing. Also talking about social media. I feel like social media is just a big topic right now. Obviously everyone is on social media as well. So
yeah. I feel like everyone's just getting on it like as of lately too. Like it's just like not really a new thing anymore.
I feel like I'm almost addicted.
Oh
now.
yeah.
Like scrolling TikTok, you're like, okay, I was on there for 3 hours. You feel like it's like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, how it literally just takes your, oh my God, your attention. It's
most
insane.
of your day literally. Or it's just like half of the time it's just like, even just like going on TikTok too, like I'll find like different content ideas and then it's just like, oh, I want to try something like this or, oh, I want to do something like that. And then you just, just too much hours.
Yourself. You literally go on there to be like, okay, I'm just going to find content ideas. And you're scrolling and you're like, oh my God.
Just dark in the dark hole.
Yeah. Like where did I go for the last 3 hours? Like,
I know.
Where did my day go?
A lot of my like For You page is like criminal, like investigations will be like how this person died and I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna sit because you know what, you go in the comments and it links you to another video on like how this person died. I'm like, oh shit, and then you just keep getting deeper and deeper.
Okay, wait, have you listened to like the criminal or the podcasts that are like that, the criminal podcast? I don't know, what are you doing, crime podcast or something,
where they just kind of like talk about like the crimes?
Yeah,
I think I've seen like a couple of those.
Yeah, everyone's saying that they're really addicted to them.
Oh
and they're so good
because they're just like all fact-based and it's like they really draw you in by like saying different facts and like playing that creepy song that like you just don't want to leave.
You're like, now I have to listen to like 12 episodes.
So bad. That's so true.
So I want to get into how you got into boxing. I first want to say that I did my first boxing like personal training thing the other day. It was a couple weeks ago. I don't know. And I literally like, that shit is hard. Yeah. It is so hard. I was like, you have to line up your, like, you have to think constantly while you're trying to, maybe I'm just, no. Even the girl was like, you're not angry enough for boxing. And I was like, dude, I don't know. Maybe I'm not angry.
Yeah. That's the thing though, and I feel like this is kind of going to tie into kind of like how I coach too, is like when I coach, I'm more of like a fundamental and like technical form coach in the beginning, just because it's like, at the end of the day, like if I'm going to be posting videos with you and just like show your progress, I don't want you to look like shit. Like there's so many people where like coaches will just allow their like clients to just like be like, oh, look how hard this girl is hitting, but like she boxes like shit. And I'm just like, no disrespect, but it's just like I want to be that person that's like, I actually want to like get you starting up like in your form and everything, because even then it's just like you'll realize like hitting a mitt is just going to feel so much better and feel different. But yeah, boxing in general is so like, it's so good for the brain. Like I wasn't that good in like high school for basketball and volleyball when I played. And then after I started boxing, it's like my coordination was just insane. Like I can all of a sudden like do dribbles, like my volleyball thing, like just how I bump is just so much better.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I got more like athletic, but just like as soon as I was like asking someone how to shoot a certain way, I would just watch and learn so much better. And like, the fundamentals of it just made sense to me. And I think it was just because of boxing, but yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's probably because you're thinking about it. Like you're constantly thinking when you're doing it. Like you have to be.
And that's the thing is like boxing is a never ending sport. So it's like, you'll always be learning something. And it's like, if I were to ever train you, like you'll punch and do boxing like a certain way. And then like I'll tweak something, but then it's like, okay, so I want you to touch your shoulder to your face when you jab. And then now it's, I want you to keep your chin tucked. And now I want you to take your shoulder and like basically throw it this way as you throw your jab and then move your hip into it. So then it's like, as you're punching the mitt, you're just thinking of like so many things. So like, I totally get where you're coming from. Cause it's just like, oh, hands up. Oh yeah, I have to breathe when I punch too. Cause people will hold their breath all the time when they breathe or when they box. So I'm just like, just gotta exhale. Have you ever got told to do that?
No.
Not yet?
No.
You're
actually, no, but like, honestly, you're right, because you're thinking about so many different things. There's like, you have to think about like, okay, now move your hips this way or like whatever. Like it's like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's so much at once. And then,
yeah. But it's good though. Like it feels good to be like, because we're so, like we were talking about, we're so focused on like our phones and stuff.
Yeah.
That like putting your mind to like something else like that and being so focused and almost like in a zone. I'm sure you probably get into like some sort of zone when you're doing it, that like it just happens.
Yeah.
And
Call
once
it
you
like a
get
flow
it all,
state.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's just like when, like, I don't know, it's one of those feelings where just like when I'm hitting the bag and it's like I'm not looking in the mirror, like watching myself box, or I'm just kind of like looking around, like seeing who's coming in the boxing room when I'm training. But it's just like when you're super locked in and like the way you're moving, it just like flows with like everything. It's so good.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about like how you got into it.
So I got into boxing in like 2017 because my ex cheated on me. So it was, yeah, I know, right? Shout out to you. Look at me now, boy. Like it was crazy because like I just felt like I had a lot of anger and aggression built up in me, and like I was just like down bad, like with like after the relationship, and I didn't think that like I didn't want to have like a negative outlet, kind of like drinking or like drugs or anything. So I just found that like boxing was something that I really wanted to get into, and it was more or less just kind of like a weight loss aspect because I used to be like 184 pounds. And then I'm like 140 now, but
how tall are you? Wait, because the girls are totally gonna ask.
How tall am I?
How tall are
5'5".
you? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like a thick girl like back then. And then like as soon as I started boxing, it was like at first like I was just like cutting a lot of weight, but I only did like probably 5 to like 7 sessions with him. And he ended up moving to the Philippines, my coach. So then I stopped boxing completely. So like me kind of like progressing into like my boxing story is kind of how I started my social media. So in 2017, like when he left and I stopped training with him, I went to school for correctional studies because I wanted to be a probation officer. And I went to school and I like really liked the course, but I was just kind of like skipping class to go to the gym, or like before studying for an exam, I'm like, oh, I need to go get a workout in. Like it was like priority. And then just kind of like finding out about like the degree process on having to like, you got to go like 2 more years into school. But like with that, you're also like writing a lot of papers as a probation officer, and like how you can't let inmates talk to you a certain way, or how like you were supposed to be with them. And that kind of just like, I guess like a little bit of a period when I wasn't in school, like during summer break, I was like, man, like, is this something like I really want to do? And then just kind of like how I was with people, I kind of realized I was pretty gullible. And I was like, yo, like me working in a jail, like probably not a good idea. I just feel like it just being aware of it, like now, like I'm so happy I didn't take that route. But it was during like COVID when it just happened. I was supposed to have a graduation to get my degree or my diploma. And because COVID happened, like I wasn't able to go. They just completely canceled the grad. So during that period of time when like no one could go to the gym, and I was like, fuck, like I'm gaining weight, I really want to go to the gym, I started just like recording workouts outside. So I would literally like go to like a park downtown, and I'm just like, okay, like what are some like workouts I could do? So I would be in a playground and I would like put my foot on a step and do like Bulgarian split squats. And then I would do like jumping lunges and like kind of like promote fat burning workouts. And then like that shit just blew up. Like, I mean, like 10K views in like a day. And this was like when TikTok was really new. And I feel like this was like literally 2020. Like not a lot of people were on social media that much. And then as I just started seeing like my videos grow, that's when I was kind of just like, okay, like I think I'm going to take like this route and like, you know, making videos. Cause I don't know, when I was a kid, I was always like in the mirror talking to myself like, hey guys, my name's Tasha. I'm going to show you how to do my makeup tutorial today. But like growing up now, like I was just like, okay, this is definitely something that I want to do. But
so from the beginning you liked being like on camera and talking and
yeah,
like that kind of thing.
I think
love that.
I think like in high school though, like I was not like, I didn't really get into like talking in front of a camera. Like it was just, I think like it was something I've always wanted to do, but I never really believed in myself or really like thought I could do it. And so then like the more I kind of like talked about it and like started filming myself, and like people were commenting like, please post more, or like show us your like weight loss journey story and everything. That's kind of when I was like, okay, like people actually want to know. So it's not like I'm just like posting it for no one to see. Like people wanted it. And I feel like that's how I gained a lot of traction on TikTok at first, because TikTok was very like weight loss based. Like a majority of my followers on TikTok are like 80% female, and like also like I think 45% in Texas. And that's like all like the lifters like place, you know, like I feel like everyone in Texas, they're all like,
oh, it's like the fitness capital of the States,
right?
Like it's 100%.
So then like from then I just like that's kind of when like my TikTok just started to grow. And then that's when I was like, hey, like I want to get back into kind of like telling people my story on like how I lost weight. So bringing boxing back into my life. So then in 2021, I ended up going to a gym to train out of. And then I just started coaching for the year. And like, I was really picky on like how people would hold mitts for me. Cause like just boxing for like maybe like a couple times before, I could tell that like when I was punching a mitt, they were hitting too hard and like my hand would just not like fully extend. And I was like, hey, this doesn't feel like how my coach Miko used to teach me. So then like it gave me an idea on like how I would want to hold mitts for people. So I was like, okay, you just want to like tap it lightly and just like make sure that they're not like, you know what I mean? Like fully like overextending and
holding mitts, is that like what is that?
Oh, so like have you ever, I don't know if you've held mitts yet, but it's like when, cause you've trained at Rumble.
I don't even know what that means.
You've just hit a bag, right?
Yeah.
So mitts are just like when they wear pads on their hands.
Did I do that with Sam? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's when they have the things and
yeah.
they just, I did that. It's hard.
They're hard, but do you like it better than the bag?
Oh, yeah.
Mitt work is so sick. I love mitt work. And that's the thing too, is like, I just wanted people to like I wanted to get really good on the mitts. And that's kind of when I started filming like my coaching side on Instagram. And like the reels on Instagram were doing really like, they weren't doing like amazing, but like I was posting every day just being like, hey, like, look, I'm with this amateur fighter, and we would just be doing mitts. And so then like more people in the boxing community slowly started following me. And then that's kind of when, as I kind of got better coaching is when I decided that I wanted to start training to like get better, like on like just fighting in general. And in my head, I was kind of like, who am I to be a coach if I like don't have a fight? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to tell people like what to do when like I haven't even stepped in the ring. So that was kind of like a big thing for me. Like, I really wanted to just be able to understand like the ring aspect of it so that my coaching would become better. And then by 2021, I trained and then had my first fight.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Tell us about like because I've obviously never fought.
Yeah.
I feel okay. So I had this friend I want to say it was in Vancouver. I think it was in Vancouver, and she started fighting, and I honestly like, she trained for a couple weeks and then she did a fight, and like I just remember thinking about it, like I could literally never do that.
Yeah.
Like that terrifies me. So tell me about like, how do you like prep for that? Like how did you prep for your first fight?
So I think for one, it just kind of was like once I got like once I could kind of correct people like from like on the other side of the mitts, like catching mitts, I was kind of like, okay, like if I can see like the corrections to these people, I could probably do it myself. So then like me hitting the mitts started to get better, and then I just started to like box a lot more. Like I took boxing like a lot more seriously in a sense of like I didn't lift as much weights. Like I kind of put that away and I just started focusing on boxing. And then that's when I started like recording myself a lot more and like catching my own form. And I found that like, man, like watching my own footage like was probably like the biggest thing to helping me like better in my form. And that was still like just when I first started boxing, but it was definitely like a lot of help from the coaches that I had at the time, just being like, yo, you should fight. Like you're ready. And so like thinking of how I was then compared to now, like I definitely wasn't ready. I mean, like I still want to fight, but like, it was just, it's like a very different experience. Cause like I was like thrown in sparring with this older lady who was like, I don't know, like 50 or some shit. And like, she was beating my ass, bro. And so like, having her do, like, she was way more experienced than me, but like just like feeling that side of it, like probably first 6 times I sparred, I cried. I was like, yo, fuck this. Like, I really don't want to like get hit. I don't like it. Like, it's so weird. But that was before learning like what head movement was, or learning how to like block punches, or learning how to move around the ring. And like, I also like did work with a lot of guys at the gym, including like some pros. And I feel like obviously they're more technical. So I was working a lot more on like the stuff that most novice like fighters wouldn't work. So like novice just means 0 to 10 fights, and then you're also fighting 3 2-minute rounds instead of 3 3-minute rounds. But just like in my head I was like, oh, like if I'm getting like technical work from a pro, like I'll probably do like a lot better in a fight. So not only that, but just kind of like working with those people really helped me out. And then like actually getting ready for the fight, it was just like I wasn't nervous at all, because like all the guys at the gym were hyping me up. Like they were like, oh, like you hit hard, da 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 da. And like I was one of the only like females at the gym too. So it was just like I was getting like a decent amount of attention for like help. But then like when it actually came down to me fighting, like I was so excited. Like I wasn't nervous at all. And then literally like the bell rings, I step in the ring, I get hit, and I was like, yo, like this is real. Like this is not like sparring at all. Cause like in sparring, you're wearing 16-ounce gloves, and in fights, you wear 10-ounce gloves.
What is the difference?
So like 16 is just like, it's a heavier glove, it's thicker. So like when you get hit, it doesn't hurt as much. Right. So then when it goes like smaller to 10-ounce, you feel like the knuckles a bit more. So like just even then the punches are faster. They're going at 100%. And like the good thing about like being in the ring though is like being straight up with you, like adrenaline hits. So when you actually get like punched in the face, like I saw TV static for a second, but then it's just kind of like when you get hit in the nose, like you expect like your bones to break, but it's not like that at all. Like it just like when your adrenaline kicks in, like you don't really feel it. But it was funny because my very first fight, I literally had like, I got extensions put in my hair, like super, super long braids. And then I had to like braid it in the back. So then like when I first came out in the ring, the ref was just like, you can't have your hair like all the way down your back like that. So I'm having like two men in my corner trying to like figure out how to tie my hair, which they don't know how. So like probably first minute of the fight goes by because it's just like a 2-minute round, and then they like stop the bell because they're like, you have to put your hair back up because it like came loose. And I'm just like, yo, thank God, because like I could not breathe, bro. Like I was taking these like because like when they stop the time, it's just like we're both in our corners, and I'm literally just like breathing, like trying to catch my breath, because like it's a very different feeling compared to sparring. And I was like really grateful and like proud of myself that I won that first fight, but it was just something that I was like, man, like I did not run enough. I did not like spar hard enough. You know what I mean? But
yeah. So when you're sparring, you're not going 100%.
So that's the thing, was like at the time, like because I was only working with that other lady, she was kind of going 100%, but we were also in like different weight classes. So like I was working with more of the guys, and like guys don't really hit you as hard because like they respect that you're a woman. Well, like some do, but like most of the time they do. So they kind of just like don't go as hard on you. And like even with like certain hard shots, like I was like, oh, this is not even that bad. Right. But then like getting into the ring when you have like a full woman's force, it's just like so different.
Really?
But, yeah.
How did you know that you were like ready? Is it because like your coaches and stuff told you, or were you just like...
That's the thing, is like I feel like now I feel like to be more ready, you would just need like the more experience of like fighting in the ring. But like it's like different for me to say because I haven't been like back in a ring since like for like 2 years now, and it's just because of like the mentality aspect, which we'll get into. But yeah, it was just like, the thing is like if I know, like if my coach was like, hey, I want you to train for silver gloves, and it's like 4 or 5 weeks away, then like that gives me enough time to like really lock in. And when I lock in, it's just like I'm starting like a meal plan and I start my runs. So it's like I'm not eating like shit, I'm not smoking weed, like I'm not like drinking or anything, and I'm like taking like my training really serious. So I found that like building all of that like up from then, it's like you feel like a lot more ready just because like you're lean, you feel good, you've been sparring more, you've been training, like your cardio's good. So that's just kind of how I felt like I was ready.
It's almost like training for like a marathon or something. Like once you've done it for like however long, or you've like followed the plan for however long, you're like, okay, I'm ready. Like,
yeah,
put me in the ring, or put me,
yeah,
you know, like.
And I think that now it's just like it's like really different for me now, because it's like I'm the best I've ever been, but like my issue is kind of just like believing in myself. And I think it's just because like now that I'm like learning so much more about boxing, it's like I will literally pick every little thing about it, instead of me like back in the day when I was just like, oh, I just learned this, like it's gonna make me better in a fight. Now it's just like, okay, now that I know how to do this, I got to work on this. Like there's always something new for me to work on now, and I feel like that really like affects like my mentality with boxing, just because there's just so much that I feel like I know that I have to work on. Like there's like a certain like flow that I have when I box, and it's just like sometimes my hands are down and I'm like literally just like feeling myself, and like I get super slick in there. But then like the minute my coach is like, yo, keep your hands up, it's like that thought is in my head for the rest of the round. Like my hands are up. And like I'm not saying like it's bad to have your hands up, like you're always supposed to have your hands up, but it's just like when you're like more on the outside and you're like pretty far away from your opponent, it's just that's kind of when I can have my hands down. But like me having my hands up ended up like forcing me to stay in the middle more, so like closer to my like sparring partner, instead of like moving around how I used to do. So then like I'm eating more shots, and then I'm just like getting hit a lot more. So in my head, I'm just like, man, like I'm the best I've been right now, but like I'm getting hit more. And it's just kind of like that balance of like where to find my flow again, but then like build that technical stuff that I've like just recently done. But
even just like listening to you, I feel like there's just so much like strategy and technical, and like there's so much to it that I think that like someone like me that doesn't watch it or doesn't pay attention to it at all, like I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like even like would you say that it's better that you're further away from someone, or do you think that it's better that you're closer, or like does it depend on the boxer, or like what's
so like my style was like an outside fighter. So it's basically like I would like go in, throw punches, step out, move around, go in, throw punches, step out, move around. And now it's like I'm really drilling how to work in on the inside, because that's like where I like lack a lot. And it's just because like if someone starts pressuring me, I stand up taller. So like, you know, when you're in your boxing stance, you want to stay like lower, just because then you have more balance, so that when you're throwing your punches, you're not like throwing yourself out of balance. And so like when I got pressured, I just kind of stood up really tall, and then I would lose balance. And it was just like, right now, actually, I'm like really trying to learn how to do more inside work and just like absorb punches more. Cause like before, like I never really kept my hands up. Like I just move my head, and I'm slick. So it's like I always miss shots. But then again, it's just like now I have to learn how to like be on the inside and be able to throw punches at the same time. And so that's like a very new skill for me, because it's like I'm so used to just like being on the outside. But
yeah,
it is a lot though, because it's just like you finally like perfect one thing, and then it's always like something else, right? And I feel like that's like another reason why sometimes it's like really hard for me to get back in the ring, because I still like, as of now, like I have one girl I work with, Jordana, and I haven't like really worked with her recently, but like she's another female and like gives me really good work. She has like 16 fights, but then it's like I'll go like with guys and they're like not as experienced, or they're like just like me, and it's like I'll do really good with them, but it's not realistic like how women fight. Like I don't know, I feel like guys can be a lot more technical, and I feel like they almost have like a respect for each other because they're both men, and they're like, yeah, like we're both dogs, we could hurt each other. But when it comes to women, it's like we both have a point to prove, like who's the stronger girl in this ring kind of thing. Because it's like if you watch like pro boxers fight, you'll see some of them are like super technical, and like the fights are like a little bit slower. But then you look at like Amanda Serrano and like Katie Taylor, and like the whole fight is nonstop. Like they're just both like, it's like a bloodbath. And I just think that like as women, it's just kind of like not saying we have a point to prove, but it's like we can like really, like I feel like we show out a lot more than like at least some men that I've seen in like boxing especially, you know? And I just really think it has to do with just like, because as a woman, we're like, you think like we're weaker, so it's like we want to show like, nah, we're actually dogs,
like
you know?
You almost have something to prove.
Yeah,
but like not saying that, but like kind of. That's how you go into it feeling.
Yeah,
you know?
And I just even think that's with like any sort of like boxing fights I've seen. Like you'll literally see, and I mean this in a way of like, because like I've seen a couple girls fight at like the nationals, like for like a Canada team, and it's like they're literally head hunting, like they're literally just chasing each other's head. But then it's like you see two guys going at it, and it's like they'll like do a lot more head movement, or they're actually throwing to the body. And like don't get me wrong, there are some girls that are like definitely like good at boxing and like go and like hit everywhere, but like I said, like the top level, sometimes like I've only seen them like throwing head punches, but like it's literally nonstop. Whereas like I feel like some men, it's more like, oh, let's see what you do kind of thing. But
interesting.
Yeah,
that's so interesting that it would be like different between the two.
Yeah.
Do you like, who do you like fighting more? Because like you spar men and women.
Barely any women though.
Oh really?
Yeah. And so that's my thing, is like I feel like that's like another reason why I'm not like, I like, for me to be confident about going back in the ring, like I need to have like solid work with women all the time. Cause like I said, like I have like a lot of respect in my gym. Like so like a lot of the guys don't really go like too hard on me. But even if they do go hard, it's like it kind of brings like that out of me, and I feel like I can fight back really well. But then when it comes to like women, sometimes like it's like I haven't really had that work like in a while. So sometimes I just sit there and I get nervous. Like I'm just like, oh damn, like I'm getting more nervous. Like I'd rather spar a guy kind of thing. But it's like, it's just one of those things that I have to learn. And like I said, that's that's like when I know I'll fight, is if I can like get consistent work with a female.
That is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
That you'd rather fight.
Yeah. But again, it's just because I like definitely have had better work from guys. And it's just because it's like they throw punches to keep me technical. Whereas like if a girl comes at me, it's like nonstop in my head. So then like I'm rolling around and then like I start brawling. And then like when I brawl, bro, it's like I'm shit, because it's like there's just so much anger in every punch that it's like you just gas out and you just get tired.
Yeah.
So
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I feel like there's more men in the sport than there are women. So
I'm the only girl in my gym.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's why it's just like whenever it's like a sparring day, like I actually got concussed like a couple months back just because I was like sparring with this one guy who was going way too hard. And then like I had to stop boxing for like 3 weeks, which like sucked. But
yeah. Whoa, intense.
Yeah.
So when like when you started just with being a female, was that like scary?
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
Oh yeah. Like
really?
I think at first like it was like really intimidating because like I would be in a boxing gym with like a bunch of men and it was just kind of like, holy fuck, like they're all dogs in there, bro. Like they're literally just like, hey, who are you? Like yeah, because it's like you're the only female that comes in and you're boxing and it's like, oh, who are you, where are you from, where are you at? Like same thing like when I go to the States, like it's just like how it is. Definitely being like in boxing for so long, like it's a lot easier for me to like handle it now than it was before. But like that's like as soon as whenever Dustin, like my coach, is like, oh, we have a new girl coming in the gym. I'm like, okay, bet, like introduce me to her. Like I want to make her feel comfortable here because no one really like did that for me. And like that's like my thing with boxing now is like I just don't want women to feel like, because especially when I try to say like, oh, you guys should come train with me, they're like, no, like I don't want to get punched. And I'm like, girl, I don't even touch you. Like I literally will just be holding mitts for you. Like I'll teach you the form and everything. And I think that's just something that like a lot of people think is just that like when you start boxing, like you're gonna get hit. Or like you have to expect to like get hit. And at the end of the day, it's like there's people that want to box for like fitness, there's people that want to box for like weight loss, there's people that want to like learn how to box but not fight. So I think that like I just want to be able to help out like all those beginners at least, just to like let them know that like I want boxing to be like a safe place. Like if everyone could box, like I would love that. I think boxing is such a sick like background to have. And like yeah.
Well, yeah, and like I mean there's so many things to it, like you're saying, like there's just the fear of like being hit, but then it's also like, I mean, I think of myself and like me going into my first training, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And so it's nice that you teach the form, because then people are like, it's not so intimidating. Like if you can like slow it down and make it into like slower steps for people, it's like, okay, I don't feel like it's gonna be that hard, you know?
Exactly. And like I usually always like break down everything too. Like middle of the session, I'll literally drop my mitts and I'll stand in front of you and I'm like, hey, this is what you're doing and then this is what I want you to do. And like I just feel like I'm personally a visual learner, so I find that like that kind of would make more sense to me, especially if someone's like learning how to box, because it's like people that come from lifting backgrounds are naturally very stiff, just because like when you're lifting you have one form you have to like hold, whereas in boxing you want to think like loose, light, like very snappy.
So opposite.
So different.
Oh my God.
And so it's just trying to get people to like relax, and like it's just when people are boxing for the first time they get really excited and they just want to like wham the mitts. And like males especially, I'm like, yo, just so you know, like probably first couple of sessions, like I'm not going to work you hard because I want to get your like session good. But also like if he just starts throwing bombs, like I'm literally going to like be like, bro, like what are you doing? Like I'm like, you're not cool. Like
this is not what we're doing.
Yeah. And sometimes like I've had clients like that where I'm just like, okay, like you just need to relax, because like what you're throwing is going to end up injuring yourself over me. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that you do form.
Yeah.
I feel like, I'm like, everyone needs that.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like I've worked with people that are like coming from Rumble, or like have never boxed before, or just like want to learn like the technique side of it. And I just find that like it's very like they're very different, because it's like one thing especially is like for like when you're hitting a bag, you kind of stand still and you stand in front of it, you don't move. So then when I'm like slowly backing up and I'm like, okay, like step with your jab, they're kind of like, what? Like, how do I do that? And so that's why it's like, yeah. So that's why it's just like people that are just starting, like, I'm like, I want to teach you everything from the ground up, so that like when we do start cracking on the mitts, like, you know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's also cool that you just like even stop to like show someone.
Oh yeah.
I do want to get into the social media stuff.
Yes.
Let's go into just like, I feel like social media is just I mean, it can be a great place, but it can be really toxic.
100%.
I feel like it's both.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, I fucking get it.
Yes, girl, I know.
Especially with like even just you saying that like, you know, sometimes you don't feel like confident enough or like doing, you know, even in your fights and stuff. It's like I feel like social media can put that in our heads a lot. So like how has it affected you?
So as I started to grow my page, cause like, I'm just going to give you a quick like background story on kind of like how I like got better at boxing. And it was just cause like the first gym that I was at for like the first like 2 or 3 years that I started boxing, it was like every time I sparred, it was like pretty hard. So I just found that like a lot of the times I wasn't really like learning much of it. And then there were times like there was still some stuff that like I learned from that gym. But like as soon as I left that gym was probably like the best progress I've seen in my boxing. And it was me being like alone for 8 months, literally training at Gold's, filming myself, watching myself like throughout my videos and like correcting myself and like working with this guy named Lee. He's literally like the biggest help in my boxing career, like literally changed the game for me. Like we would like be like training and he's like, oh, you just want to move your head like this and you just want to like kind of flow like this. And then it just literally made my boxing like so much better. And like we would text spar, so it's just like we're hitting each other but like super light, but it's like kind of like a lot of punches at once. And it just makes you move faster and like your head movement's a lot better. And so like that really like elevated my boxing. And then when I first started working with LTDE, like the owner like posted a story, Taylor, and he was just like hosting this thing called like a spar club, and I just like replied to the story. I'm like, yo, that looks sick. And then he literally sent me a voice memo and was like, yo, I'll fly you out, like it's next week. And I was like, what the fuck, like I don't want to miss up this opportunity, but I haven't really like sparred. So like I started like training like really hard for the week, and then he actually flew me to Phoenix instead of San Diego, so I ended up just like being stuck in Phoenix instead of San Diego. But when he came back from like San Diego, he felt bad that he like flew me to the wrong place because I missed that event.
Oh, it wasn't.
Oh no, yeah, I missed that event.
Oh
yeah,
my god,
I know.
what? Oh, that's so shit.
It's so funny though, because he literally like messaged me. I was like, yo, like I landed. Like he's like, I'm at the airport, and then he's like, send me your location. Sent to my location. He literally called me and was like, dog, like I flew you to Phoenix. Like you're 5 hours away. I'm in San Diego, and like he like we worked it out. Like honestly, I was already in Phoenix, and I was like, honestly, like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm happy I'm out here. It's something for me to do. I ended up like going to like a boxing gym and like training out of there. But him and I ended up like sparring when he came back from the trip, and like just like he's a pro. So like when I worked with him for the first time, like he literally was like, man, like you're a dog, like you're really good. And I think it was just like from hearing a different perspective when I wasn't in a gym for like 8 months. That's kind of when I was just like, shit, like, do you mean that? Like, and then even training at the gyms in Phoenix, like at Old School, they were just like, are you pro? Like, how many fights do you have? And I'm like, no, like, I'm actually just an amateur. So like, it just like made me feel like really good about like my boxing in general. Cause it's like when I haven't been in a gym for 8 months, like I don't hear it often. Right. And so, that's kind of like, and then when I did go on that trip, that's when I started to build, like, that's when I had 10K followers. And then from there, it was just like more like pro boxers would follow me, like females, males, just like big name boxers. Same with like coaches all around the world, boxing gyms. And then as I started, because at first I was only following like big name females, and now it's just like there's so many like good amateurs, and there's so many like other females that are like on my like explore page, and I'm like, oh, who's this, who's that? And so like watching how they like spar or like how they kind of train, like it just really got to me. And I was just like, fuck, like I just really started comparing myself to that, because it's like, why should I post my boxing when like these girls look like that? And it kind of just like put me in a sense of like where I was just like, oh, I don't even know if I should post this because like I don't look good in it, because I feel like my hands are down. Or it's like, it's almost like every comment like slowly started to affect me, where people would be like, yo, your hands are down. And so then like when I'm editing, I'm like, yo, I can't post this clip because my hands are down. Or like, yeah. And it just became one of those things where I was like really like staying away from posting my sparring. And I kind of just forgot like the reason why I started posting on social media was just truly in the beginning was just to show like my progress in boxing. Like I've only been boxing for like 4 years. So it's just like going from like how I went from like this to this is just kind of like my story to like inspire and motivate people. Aww. Yeah. And so then like it just ended up me trying to like not place myself in the pro category, but I almost felt like too much pressure to like post my shit, because now I got these pro girls following me. Like, why would they want to watch my shit boxing when like really I wasn't even doing bad, but it was just like me in my head because I was comparing myself
in your head.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how like when we're around different, like when we put ourselves into like a different crowd or like what we're consuming, almost like I went through a time, I think it was this summer, where I was consuming so many like different trainers stuff, like lifter people, and I was just like, why am I comparing so much? Like I started comparing my stuff to their stuff, and I was just like, I was in the same boat as you. I was just like, I don't even want to post anymore because I'm like, my stuff isn't good enough, or this isn't good, or whatever. And you're like, why am I so in my head? Like, why?
And it's crazy because it's like I never expected to get to that point either, and it was just really like, and it's just like it even affected in my sparring, because when I didn't have good sparring days, I'm like, okay, now I have no content to post. But then like I'm like, but why should I post content? Like I'm not even fighting right now, like just like all this shit. And then it's like I posted a video of me doing like a bag drill, and it hit like 2.8 million views, which is like the most I've ever had on Instagram. And it's like there's like this one dude that literally was just like what's the purpose of this drill? It's dumb. And like thank God for like all the homies that are commenting like, yo, shut the fuck up, like you don't know what you're talking about, bro, like really having my back. But like that's the thing with me too, is like sometimes I get in my head about like posting certain videos, because it's like, yes, I'm a coach, and like yes, I'm an amateur boxer, but like I haven't fought in 2 years, and also like I have 4 fights. Like I feel like I'm not as experienced, but like I kind of am like, because I am a coach and a fighter at the same time, it's like I'm learning like different fundamentals and stuff. So it's like when I find a drill that works for me and I post it and like someone's like not happy about it, I'm just like, damn, like should I have not posted that? Like it's just,
you get like so hard on yourself, and then it's like one shitty comment, which anyone can make that comment, like it could be anyone. But it's like you don't even focus on anything else. You just focus on the shitty one. Yeah.
And I think the thing is with people too is like a lot of people are like, oh, like just don't care what people say. Like why are you like listening to that? And I'm like, okay, like especially my boyfriend, he's like you don't gotta worry about how like they talk to you. Like, you know, like just keep doing you. And like thankful for him that he was the one that really like helped me like get back into posting like my videos and stuff. Excuse me, but just like I guess just before kind of like I thought that I could be posting those videos, it was just like really hard for me to like not, because even though I'm just like, yeah, like I don't care what these people have to say, it really like to a point where I'm just like, oh, but like they are right, like my hands aren't up. But like realistically, it's like when I spar and I have those moments where my hands are down, like I don't get hit, and that's like my own like confident thing that like I should know and trust. And I feel like I'm not saying social media is the reason why I'm not fighting, but it's just the whole mentality in general of just like not really like believing in myself, or kind of like recognizing how far I came, or just like how much I've improved. Really, it's just in my head, like I'm always like there's more work to do, like there's always something better to like get back on. And I just it's
like a good thing and a bad thing, because it's like comparison is good because you're actually comparing yourself. You can get better. You know, like we can always get better at shit. But it's like when you're comparing constantly, and then it like stops you from doing stuff that you love, like it's almost like you forget that like I think about why I got into fitness, and sometimes you forget that like that was your reason. You know?
No,
like,
literally.
And
that's
then you're
so
like,
facts.
Right? And then you're comparing to all these people that are like, you know, maybe they're, and nobody is the same fucking person. Like every coach like posts differently. Every coach is going to do a different drill. Every coach is going to do a different lift or whatever. And it's like, people are going to go to that coach for a reason. And yes, there's like things that are right and things that are wrong, but there's like almost more pressure because you're a coach, because you're like, I don't want to steer my people wrong. Right?
Exactly.
Like,
but then I'm like grateful, because it's like there's a lot of people that like will comment on my thing, and they're like, yo, like I've been trying this drill, like it's been helping me, thank you. And like I get so happy about hearing that, because it's like if people are taking my advice, or like at least like resorting to my content for like their better help, like I appreciate that so much. Like that means so much to me versus like whatever this asshole has to say. But yeah, it's just sometimes it's funny, like I like to clap back at them sometimes just to like fuck around. And
sometimes I'll just like share it on my story, and I'm like,
just like, look what this person said. I'm like, y'all go find them. Go.
Okay, you started TikTok in like 2020? Yeah. How's your TikTok going now? Like, are you still posting and stuff, or like what's the
that one? So I think I have like 188k followers on there, and it just really blew up because of like my weight loss story, kind of was just like losing 42 pounds and everything. So I feel like a lot of the people that have always followed me were always from that like more like fitness side of me. Whereas like when I first started Instagram, it just like, it was literally like my boxing page. But I just feel like with TikTok now, like I'm trying to figure out like what to post on where. So it's like with Instagram, I kind of want to do like better videos, like more professional videos, I guess, but also just like with TikTok, it's like I want to do more like daily vlogs and just like more stupid shit, like unfiltered stuff on TikTok.
That's TikTok.
Yeah.
I hate that Instagram is so like aesthetic and like pretty and like, oh my God, it's the worst.
I know.
I love TikTok for being so like, I feel like I can
do
just
whatever you want.
pick up my phone and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it'll like blow up and you're
no,
like,
literally.
okay.
You're like, oh, sweet. Yeah. It's like, there's like, you can make like a lot of money posting on Snapchat now. So like, I'm trying to do that.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Have you started?
It's like, I'm pretty sure dude, I looked at ChatGPT and it says you need 50K followers, but like before it said 1,000. So like, I don't know if it's like new or some shit, but they kind of want you to have like a 20 story post. So it's like 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 5 like late afternoon, 5 evening, and then like a thumbnail so that it's like the end so that people click on it and stuff. And like the good thing about Snap is like I'll post like way more like me, like random shit that I probably wouldn't post on Instagram. But like for some reason, it's just like I'm not dedicated to Snap as much as I am on Instagram. Like I feel like it's easier on Instagram, but on Snap, I'm like, no, this is the one that'll pay me first. Like I have to do it. Like
I know I post so much on Snap, but like it's great, but I'm not looking to get it monetized. Like I feel like I don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
You know?
I just know that it's like the fastest. Like apparently fastest.
Really? But can we get paid in Canada though?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll take it seriously.
Yes, dude, you should. And that's why I mean, like, just like keep it like not private, like have like a public profile and stuff, and just keep posting on that because like I know. That's
Do you post like Snapchat Spotlight or something?
No, I have like once or twice, and like some of those videos did good, but I feel like that's kind of just like I kind of look at Spotlight as like a YouTube short.
Okay.
So I would like not post like me here with you right now on Spotlight, but like maybe like a clip of the podcast I would post on Spotlight.
Right. Okay.
That's what I think it is, but like don't quote me on that because like I'm just kind of going because I feel like with Spotlight it's more like the viral stuff, or like if you have like
it's more like if you're scrolling kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that like I would say take your most viral TikToks and your most viral Instagram videos and like make those your Spotlight ones on TikTok, because then if you know it does good on both platforms, it would do good on that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
Like noted.
Yeah, let's make some money, girl. Like, for real.
Love that. Well, I like that we can get paid in Canada because we never can.
No, literally.
Like I think about TikTok all the time because like my TikTok's pretty big too, and I'm like, if I would have got paid on TikTok, would have been great.
Yeah, not in Canada, and I just know that I think they pay you for the live, and like.
Oh yeah, but it's like nothing.
No, and that's the thing too is like there are people that are like live all the fucking time, like get ready with me, like walk to the store with me,
sleeping
and
putting it live,
and I'm just like I'm like, dude, like that's when you know, bro, that's when you fucking know you're on your phone too much. Like that's the thing is I just feel like balancing like social media life and like real life is like sometimes, because I feel like my profile views are at like 3.8 mil, which is like really high, so it's like
on Instagram? Oh,
yeah. So I just feel like I have to just keep posting every day because then it doesn't go down.
Yeah.
But like I know that like because there's been periods of times where like I've just been mentally down bad and I wouldn't post for like weeks and I would just lose like hella followers, and it's like at the end of the day I do want to grow my page, so I have to be like consistent on it.
You have to post every day, don't
you?
Like Are you posting reels? Are you posting photos, or kind of both?
I do both, but like I'm mostly reels. Like I'll try to do like, let's say if I'm like good and I post like a reel like for like let's throughout the week I'll probably do like one like photo dump.
Okay.
But sometimes my photo dumps can do like really well, and I feel like that's why I kind of make them more sporadic, because I put more like random shit in there. You know what I mean? Like quotes or just like little moments that I had during the week. Whereas like with reels, like I am trying to like I could post like anything, like just like me boxing or like me teaching something or like me doing a vlog. So I feel like that's good about reels. It's like endless. And that's the cool thing with reels too, is like you'll see like when you go on like your likes and stuff, you'll see that like really old reels are like still getting likes and stuff.
Love that.
Yeah.
I actually really like reels.
Yeah.
Like I do like them.
Yeah. They're like, I'm honestly like, I feel like that's why they're good, because they're just constantly like getting bounced around people's explore pages. Like the ones that like used to do really good for me are like still going around.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. still
crazy.
blowing up.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah. So that's like one way for like just for people to grow is I just think that like if you want to grow, especially on Instagram, like you should really just try to boost like reels like every day, just because it's like if it reaches one person's page one time, like their algorithm and they like it, it'll end up on like someone else's. But then like if you're posting every day, it's like your previous videos are still getting like moved around, you know?
Okay, yeah. Do you feel like when you post right away, do you feel like within the day it does really well, or do you feel like it just depends? Last one. I don't know.
I think it's that camera.
That one?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. What do we do? We lost a camera. Well, I mean, we're almost done anyways.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about social media?
No, I think that was really it. I feel like I kind of just said everything.
Okay, we do need one more thing. I need some advice for the girls that want to get into boxing, but they're maybe scared to get into boxing.
Right. So let's say you're in like a different place and you're not like in Calgary, because I would just say come to my gym.
Yeah,
Unity
go to
Boxing.
her. Go to her.
Unity Boxing Club. That's where I'm at. But like let's say I think that like it's really important to like as soon as you go in that gym just to really like feel out the vibes, because it's like one thing where like you could go to a gym and if like no one looks at you, no one talks to you, and it's just really like tense, like I personally wouldn't go. But again, like I said, like boxing gyms can be a doghouse, so you might have like a bunch of men approach you being like, hey, like where you like are you trying to sign up, da da da. And I think that like if you want to get into a gym and you want to like take it seriously, just maybe like go in and talk to a coach about it and let them know like your goals. And like especially like I feel like mostly in the States there's a lot more females in boxing gyms, which is like super blessed. But really just kind of like I think that like feeling the vibe out and just seeing how it is, because you'll see like there'll be coaches there that are kind of like trying to draw you in for a one-on-one, and they'll just be like, why don't you train with me? Like personally, like whenever I try to get people to like to come into the gym, or like it's their first time and they don't know what they want to do, I give them options where I'm just like, if you just want to try out classes and like if you want to like be with other people, like class is like good for you. But like some people are like, no, like I want to learn how to box properly first and then jump into classes. So then I would suggest them to like one-on-ones. But like I feel like there are coaches that are literally just like, oh, like come, like I'll train you, like I'll take you in. And then that's kind of when I feel like they might just be like a money grab, or you know, like there's a lot of people that like will see females and they're just like, yeah, she's not gonna fight, she just wants to train. So they'll just kind of like abuse that and just want you to just like come in just for that. Like I've definitely like known some female that's have it like experienced that. So I think it's really important just to like be able to know that like they actually want you to like learn boxing and like they want to like help you and be there for you, versus just like trying to sell you a session and just, you know, because at the end of the day,
suss out the gym and see what the vibes are.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like when you're first like going into a new gym, like you want to like you probably have been to a couple gyms already now and you can kind of tell like what vibe is yours or not, because like at the end of the day that's going to be the place where you're going to spend a lot of your time, so you don't want it to be like awkward or uncomfortable for you.
Yeah, so
I think
I love that. That's great advice. Also, just see the vibes.
Yeah, literally see what it's like.
Well, Tasha, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
It was so fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad we could do it.
Yeah, finally.
I know, like after like forever.
Literally.
Thank you guys for listening. I will see you at the next episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.